to various government and non-government organizations. He is an active member of national level professional bodies, that is IRC, ISTE, Transportation Research Group of India, and Institute of Urban Transport. Sir has a number of publication has been collected by Sir. International Journals 18, National Journals 4, National Conferences 19, International Conferences 29, total published papers 70. Sir has guided 59 MTech thesis and 2 PhD thesis projects and delivered various expert lectures, conducted various workshops and training programs and seminars. So now I request Siddharth sir to please take over the session. Sir.
ये लाइट्स कुछ ऑफ कम हो सकता है?
लाइट्स देखिए, ये ऊपर वाली लाइट कम कर दीजिए.
हेलो, कोई है ऊपर?
ऊपर वाली लाइट सूर्या देखना, मैं करवा देता हूं सर.
Okay, so very good afternoon to ladies and gentlemen, and dream of something which is as humongous, as huge, as big as Vision Zero. So ladies and gentlemen, as much as we like to think we are invincible, we are not. What if we were to change? What if our bodies were built to survive a crash? What might we look like? The answer to these questions is Graham, a reminder of how just vulnerable our bodies really are. Graham gives an understanding about the vulnerability of human body, and it tells us that human body is not meant to move at the kind of speeds as we actually move. So, ladies and gentlemen, would you like to meet Graham, the only person designed to survive on our roads? If you really want to meet him, you can say yes. Are students, mere students ho yaar, jor se. So, Graham is an interactive lifelike sculpture demonstrating human vulnerability. This is a sculpture which has been made by several stakeholders, by doctors, by transport professionals, engineers, psychologists, enforcement personnel, inputs. So it is an interactive sculpture. If you can see this is a sculpture which depicts a human body, and see the cushion in the brain, all alongside the brain, which is a very, very vulnerable part in any sort of an event of a crash. This is something which really have a tremendous effect. Then you see neck, as we understand that neck is also a very, very important part, because whenever a crash event do take place and the vehicle do comes to a standstill, but the body, that is the occupant of the vehicle, is still in motion, and that is what we call as momentum. And because of that, the neck has a huge potential to break, and that is why we will usually say that we do not prefer to have, you know, small kids on the front side of the vehicle because of their tender body parts. And then you see body. So these are the ribs which are protected. So fortunately or unfortunately, we do not, our human body is not like Graham. And this actually, if we were like him, it would have been certain kind of protection against the crashes, or at least some kind of a probability to resist them, the effect of a crash event. We all know we are already in the decade of action for road safety from 2021 to 2030, and there is a huge target to reduce the traffic road deaths and fatalities by 50% by 2030. So, as the theme of the conference is that Vision Zero and safety is the only option. So, there is no other option than safety, and what needs to be done? Everything needs to be done by all the stakeholders. So, let us see what it needs to move towards Vision Zero. Towards Vision Zero takes us that as humans we are not perfect and we will make mistakes. This understanding, this we need to know first, that we will make mistakes and that our bodies can tolerate a limited amount of force in a crash before they actually break. and there is a personal responsibility in addressing the road crash traumas. So this begins with this kind of an understanding that Vision Zero, we want to move towards it. The human body is not designed to go as fast as it goes in the vehicles. So the average top speed of elite athletes is about 30 km per hour. And that is the accepted amount of generated force we can stand as humans. So this 30 km per hour speed as humans, and any impacting speed greater than that will be something which can have an adverse effect on human body. So Vision Zero deaths, it acknowledges that even one death on transportation system is unacceptable, and focuses on safe mobility for all road users. By all road users, I mean pedestrians, bicyclists, motorized two-wheelers, passenger cars, and heavy commercial vehicles. Also, very importantly, for differently abled peoples. It was adopted in Sweden in 1997 as Vision Zero. And when we talk about Vision Zero, very particularly, we are actually talking about the safe systems approach, which actually talks about safe road design. So a safe road design, the vehicle has to run on safer infrastructure. So safe road design, and very important on speed management. Now how it is important on speed management, I'll let you know in the subsequent slides as well. So there are 4 principles of Vision Zero. Safety comes first. There is a coordinated strategy. That means there needs to be a coordination between all the stakeholders, and then not only road authorities but the road users are also in together in achieving this Vision Zero. And importantly, it accounts for human errors. That means how to account for human errors? To generate and develop such kind of systems which actually provide safe road infrastructure, which are such that they are forgiving in nature, and they are not something which punishes the road user on making a mistake. So there are the principles of safe systems approach. Humans make mistakes, humans are vulnerable, the responsibility is shared. Safety should be proactive strategy, that it has to be proactive strategy before the event of crash has taken place. We should be able to analyze the specific conditions onto the road when such events can take place, what we do in something which we called as road safety auditing, and interpret the threat potentials of the road users, which is a proactive approach. And then deaths and serious injuries are unacceptable. So some of the implementations of Vision Zero, of course, as I told you, Sweden has been pioneer in that. So it suggests that it gives you some certain combinations. The certain combinations are in terms of strategies towards enforcement, towards education, towards vehicle safety measures, and very importantly for safe road design and speed management. So this safe road design and speed management is something which is a key in actually moving towards something what we call as Vision Zero. We see the Norway example. So this includes improving vehicle safety standards and increasing enforcement and traffic regulations again. And again, very importantly, it talks about safer roads and reducing the speed limit. So speed management here also becomes a important criteria. Let us move to it forward. This is about Denmark. Again, Denmark has a strategy with a goal to create safe and sustainable mobility. So we have the approach which includes improving infrastructure for bicyclists, that is for the non-motorized transport, promoting public transportation, and integrating road safety into the urban planning. And of course, speed management, again one of them. So in all the 3 strategies, if we look, there is an overlap of something which is called as speed management and safe road designs. So let us see the principles of and core elements and action areas for Vision Zero. So we will see here that we have already talked about the principles. Principles are human make errors, human are vulnerable, responsibility is shared, and no deaths are acceptable, and the strategy has to be a proactive one. So the actionable areas, what are those actionable areas? So the actionable areas are land use planning, a proper land use planning, appropriate land use planning has to be done, because actually traffic is generated from because of buildings, and it is generated because of the type and nature of the land use. The type and nature of the vehicles actually depends upon the type and nature of the land use in which the whole traffic system is actually plying or maneuvering. So land use is an important parameter, and it's one of the areas in which it can be worked upon. So it is one areas in which we work upon. The problem is supposed to, it will actually not arise if it is planned in such a manner that such practice will actually not take place because of the vehicular mixes, which will not take place. Then street design and engineering and speed management again. So these are the action areas apart from, of course, enforcement, education, vehicle design technology, and post-crash response. So actionable area for Vision Zero, some engineering techniques for speed management and forgiving road environment. So speed management through traffic calming. So one of the very easy way, simple way in which we can do and achieve the speed management, that is through the calming techniques, the traffic calming techniques. So before that, if you can see this slide in which there is this figure between a graph between the fatality on the y-axis and the collision speed on the x-axis, and you will find that for a speed of up to 30 kmph, the fatality for the pedestrians and cyclists is only around 10%. But it increases tremendously as the vehicular speeds increase from 30 to 40 and then 40 to 50. So it reaches somewhere around here. So the fatality risk increases to almost around 90%. Similarly, for the side collision of the vehicular side collisions, you will find that the fatality risk is around 10% for the vehicular speed of 50 kmph. But it increases tremendously as the vehicle speed increases from 50 to 60 to 70 kmph to around 90% fatality risk. And similarly for the head-on collision, you can see the head-on collision risk increases tremendously with the speed. So there is, of course, it suggests that speed is an important parameter which enhances the fatality risk for various types of road users tremendously. Now, if you see this another figure, and there you find this graph which suggests two things. On the x-axis, we have the impact angle. That is the impact, that is crash impact angle. Here you are talking about a 90-degree crash impact angle. Okay, the collision at the 90-degree and lesser degrees. And this is the y-axis, you have the transferable kinetic energy in kilojoule. So ultimately, how much energy is transferred with, and then for speeds of 50 to 100 km per hour. So you'll find that at impact angle, as the impact angle increases from say 10 to 90 degrees centigrade, 90 degrees, you will find that the speed, and if you increase the speed say for 80 km per hour, so you will find that the transferable kinetic energy is keep on increasing, going on increasing as the impact angle is moving towards the 90 degrees. So hence we suggest that if the impact angle can be controlled, the transferable kinetic energy, impact angle of the collisions can be controlled, the transferable kinetic energy can be reduced, and hence the impact of the outcome of the event of a crash, the severity of the crash can be reduced. So that is also something which can be done through some of the engineering techniques, wherein we can reduce the impact angle. If the impact angle is close to 90 degree, there will be more transferable kinetic energy that would be there, and hence the outcome of the event of the crash will be more severe. These are few of the vertical deflection traffic calming devices which are suggested by our guidelines. But mostly like what has been seen here, largely in the urban context, because we normally we would not like to have this kind of vertical deflection devices onto our high-speed corridors or arterial streets or highways. So we will not like to have them, but in urban context, if you see them in the urban streets, you will find that that the dimensions of this are really some little trouble. And you do provide this kind of devices as a traffic calming mechanism, speed reduction mechanism, but many a times providing this at inappropriate place, wrong with wrong dimensions, inappropriate dimensions will actually lead to something which is it enhances the problem and actually solution or actually itself becomes the problem. So speed hump needs to be designed appropriately, and wherever it is there, it is to be marked appropriately properly, so for the night time visibility, so that the vehicle can see in the night time, and hence it does not come as a surprise to the road user, especially in the urban context, to the vulnerable road users, the motorized two-wheelers, etc. Again, this is one of the uncontrolled crossing. It's on a two-way street. It's an uncontrolled crossing on a two-way street. So it's a mid-block section. A mid-block section is a section between two intersections on a through route. So where there is a genuine demand and the pedestrian needs to cross this kind of facility, you need to provide certain measures into these facilities. So this is a tabletop which also acts, which is a crossing facility, and which also acts as a traffic calming mechanism or device. So the vehicle, motorized vehicle approaching this tabletop, actually, it acts as a stimulus to it. As visually, it's 150 mm above the road surface. So it's a tabletop mechanism where the vehicle will can see it for longer from some distance, and actually when negotiates it, it also acts as a calming or speed reduction device. Similarly, the trapezoidal hump and the rumble strips. So rumble strips provided at, we do provide them at places which is very unavoidable. So it's both are similar things, but in tabletop the distance of the table which can be more, it is greater. Okay, and in the trapezoidal hump, the dimensions of the hump are lesser. Okay. Yes, these are from IRC guidelines. Yeah. Yes, source is written there. So you have the rumble strip provided at places where speed control is unavoidable, and the highways, that is on highways and arterial road, we may provide this mechanism also. If we really want to, if the need and requirement to speed reduction is there, then that can also be done. Then textured pavements for effectively reducing the speeds of the small cars. That is also that it is actually generating the kind of stimulus which is required, which is the visual stimulus, which is also the audible stimulus. As the vehicle moves on to such kind of textured pavement, it gives you some sound. So it's an audible stimulus as well, like this. Then you have the rumble strip, though they are not very much shoulder rumble strips, though they are not very popular in the Indian context. But still, for those vehicles which the errant vehicle which are moving out of the carriageway, moving out of the road, they gives them the necessary stimulus. And it's a wake-up call for those vehicles, which are trying to move out of the carriageway because of some reason or the other, the errant vehicle. Then traffic calming at school proximal zone. So you see here very effectively, this is a school zone. The school zone is an hazardous zone, of course, where we expect a lot of pedestrian movement or movement of minor children. So speed reduction and traffic calming is required. So you see here we have something which is called as the thermoplastic markings, which are of markings of thickness. So these are stripes of one stripe of 6, that is one set, and having 5 mm height at 6 mm spacing apart, and another one is of the 1000 mm spacing apart, but the thickness is 15 mm height. So it does act as a stimulus, and very effectively it can be utilized in the road system for speed reduction and also for alerting the road users. This has been used effectively in certain important locations, which I'll show in the subsequent slide. Then friction enhancement measures at sharp curves. So sharp curves, as we understand sharp curves, they are unsafe for high speeds because of the reason known that there could be a centrifugal force and the vehicle may just skid or overturn because of the at the sharp curves. and hence it will be really helping to provide some kind of a skid resistant surface on the sharp horizontal curves, which are also very abrasive in nature. So that would also help in enhancing the resistance to skidding of the vehicles laterally. And then these are the lane changing markers. I just had put this specifically for one purpose, that I like the markings, specifically if you can see the markings here. Very effectively this marking, because this is say the curtailment of one lane, so we need to curtail one lane. So how do we curtail one lane? Psychologically. So markings do provide it's a most basic psychological intervention which needs to be provided, and how the marking is providing this ladder hatching, providing to curtail this one lane, 3 lane into 2 lanes. And then another one is reduction of paved carriageway. So the paved carriageway reduced through the ladder hatching. Otherwise, the vehicle will have a tendency to move and hit this parapet wall here. So with this kind of intervention, the tendency of the vehicle is to move and stay within the lane. At those areas where visibility is restricted, so this is a restricted visibility situation, and it's an undivided carriageway, so psychological median made of ladder hatching. So this is a median which is made up of a ladder hatching. It prevents that kind of a phenomenon, which is the head-on collision, because the tendency of the vehicle to utilize this, and this will act as a psychological median for the road user. Another actionable area for Vision 0 is forgiving road environment, because we had begun with that the humans will make mistakes and the mistakes will take place, and hence we need to generate and develop such kind of a system which is forgiving in nature. That means ऐसी सड़कें जो punishment ना दे, माफ कर दे. So that kind of a system which needs to be evolved or generated. So just few of the interventions in this regard that can be done. So first understand what is a forgiving road. A forgiving road site is one that does all that is possible to keep the vehicles on the road. So keep the vehicle onto the road is the most important and basic thing for that. Has drivable side slope, so it has a drivable side slope, and no uncovered drains. So drains are all covered, there is no uncovered drains. Removes or relocates roadside hazards. So any roadside hazard like an electric pole or any other roadside hazard is there, you remove or relocate them. Uses forgiving roadside furniture. Whatever roadside furniture is there, it is forgiving in nature. And then has crash barrier only when there is actually the need of the crash barrier is there. So roadside safety management strategy, it assists in reducing the likelihood and severity of the crashes. So it reduces the likelihood and severity. So 5-step strategy includes the keep the vehicles on the road, remove the hazard, relocate the hazard. Now, if all the threes are not feasible because of any of the reason, then you modify the hazard, and next is the shielding the hazard. So this is the 5-step strategy which can be utilized as a hazard management strategy. Some of the good practices: you shield the rock face, you can shield them, as I told you, shield the hazard, and then these are the recoverable fill slopes. So hazard management strategy, if we show in the sort of a flow chart, so it is like determine the clear zone distance. Now, are there any hazards within the clear zone? If there are hazards, yes, then action is required. Can hazard be removed? If no, then can hazard be relocated at least to the edge of the clear zone? If again no, can hazard be modified to reduce its crash frequency and crash severity? If yes, modify or redesign hazard or remove or reduce the danger. Can hazard be shielded with safety barrier? If yes, install an approved safety barrier to shield the hazard. If no, then keep the vehicle on the road by signs, improving delineation, installing tactile edge lines, paving shoulders, and installing guideposts. So create safe road environment. A safe road environment is one which actually do not have any surprises. There should not be surprises. Everything should be very clear and obvious to the road users without any confusion in the mind of the drivers. So we need to release information, and that is very necessary, but there has to be a controlled release of information. The information should be very something which is pertinent at that particular location, and that there should not be too many numbers. And what a road environment should do? So it should warn, it should inform, it should guide, it should control, and ultimately it should forgive. That is what is expected from a road environment. Warn for unusual features, inform of conditions to be encountered, guide through the unusual sections, control to the conflict point, and forgive the errant behavior. Very recently, just a couple of days back, I was here at the Atal Setu, and so I had found some of the things. I just thought that I just include this in the presentation about the safe road environment, the forgiving roadsides. So there it's a 22-kilometer stretch, one of the engineering marvels, and we are very proud to have such kind of an engineering infrastructure in our nation. So we have this anti-glare screens. They are there, the anti-glare screens, so that the glare of the oncoming vehicles, they can be prevented, and so that is one of the ways in which we can in that for the night time, and as nighttime issues, especially which comes when the vehicles are coming from opposite direction, so that can be dealt with appropriately, because we understand that any sort of a trouble or problem at this section of road, the vehicle lands into the Arabian Sea. Okay, so and then we have crash barriers for vehicle containment. So we have these barriers, we have these barriers which are there, but we have again crash barriers for vehicle containment. So these additional crash barriers for vehicle containment with having those vertical and horizontal component both. So this work was going on. Still, this work was going on like this additional arrangement for vehicle containment. It is preventing the vehicle, because keep the vehicle onto the carriageway, keep the vehicle onto the road is what the vision is, what the idea is. This is the errant vehicle. The errant vehicle, if the speeds are very high, the errant vehicle tend to move out of the carriage. Okay, the vehicle, the driver is driving because of the fatigue, the vehicle may just move out of the carriage. Okay, because of distraction, the vehicle may just move out of carriage. Okay, and then we have the very effective utilization of this transverse bar marking for speed reduction. Very effective utilization of this transverse bar marking. At all those places where we find that there is some kind of an hazard which is expected. Maybe there is a slight horizontal curve. Okay, so at these locations we have speed reduction is required. We have, and then speed cameras every 100 meters. Every 100 meters they are installed. So this is all these things are very forgiving in nature. Effective informatory signboards and markings. So you see very effectively this signboard, because this is the exit end, and at the exit end you need to take the exit 1A, 1B, 1C. So that is very effectively, so absolutely little confusion in the minds of the road user which exit to take place in advance. Okay, and of course the markings. You can see road markings, and then here you see this is a diverging traffic stream. So in the diverging traffic stream there is a crash cushion which is placed. So if even the errant vehicle comes and hits this crash cushion, so to conclude, Vision Zero is a shared responsibility. Responsibility for safe roads should be shared by road users, road engineers, municipalities, and other levels of government, police, vehicle manufacturer, regulators, and road authorities. Ladies and gentlemen, Vision Zero Deaths. For those who dare to dream, there is a whole world to win. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Any questions? Okay. Thank you very much, sir. May I now request Prerna ma'am to please present a gift to sir, please. नीचे ले आइए।
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is Swatantra Kumar, sir. Swatantra, sir, please. Swatantra Kumar, sir, graduated in civil engineering from National Institute of Technology, Jaipur, Rajasthan. Also completed post-graduation MBA marketing from All India Management Association, New Delhi. He is also certified road safety auditor from Indian Academy of Higher Education, Highway Engineers. He is currently working in 3M India Limited as GM Regulatory Affairs. 3M India Limited is India's subsidiary of 3M Corporation USA, a 120-year-old company with various technology platforms and products related to road safety. Sir is also an active member in professional civil engineering societies like Indian Road Congress, Indian Geotechnical Society, Indian Society for Rock Mechanics and Tunneling Technology, Indian Society for Engineering Geology, Indian Building Congress, Indian Concrete Institute, etc. He has also served in IRC in the capacity of council member for the last 10 years and also elected as Vice President of Indian Road Congress during 73rd annual session held at Coimbatore in January 2013. He represented IRC at Japan Road Association held in October 2013 at Tokyo to sign MOU between JRA and IRC. He is an active member of H1, H8, H10 committee of IRC and involved in several regulation documents. He has been engaged with various institutions like Indian Academy of Highway Engineers, Institute of Road Traffic Education, Asian Institute of Transport Development, NIT Bhopal, NIT Jaipur, NIT Allahabad, IIT Delhi.
डाउनलोड्स में सब PDF
इसको खोल दीजिए, यस ठीक, इसको कर लो फुल स्क्रीन।
स्लाइड चेंज करते हैं
इधर हो जाएगा क्या?
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. So it's almost time between lunchtime and the presentation, but I'll try to make more interactive. More pictures are there, very less theory part is here inside it. And I just start with the sir's last slide, in which sir's shown about the Mumbai bridge photographs. So we got privilege to work with the MMRDA, and entire signboards which you have seen in the last slide was done by our organization. And so a little bit about this organization. 3M is a global company. We are from US. Our headquarters is there in Bangalore, and we have offices all across the country. And I'm based out at New Delhi. So start with the first Indian road network, though we all have learn about it, but it's very important, imperative to know about it. Recently, we have surpassed the road network from the China. So now we are second largest road network of the world. We have around 63 lakhs kilometer of the road we have. So out of that, around 70% are rural roads, around 2% are national highway, and other roads. So let's understand about the global perspective of the road safety. So around 13.5 lakhs people are dying every year across the globe, and you know, almost more than 10% we are contributing in our India. So out of that, around 46% are the vulnerable road users, like cyclists, two-wheelers, pedestrians, and all those things. And you know, there are several reasons for the death of the people in the world, like heart attack or blood pressure, sugars, diabetes, suicide, crimes. So all those things you know about it. But you know, at this moment, the road accidents are the eighth cause of the death of the people in the world. But the speed it's growing across the world. So we are, this is the data as per the WHO. So we are close to this in world will be ranked, this road accidents will be at the 5th position by end of the 2030. So that is how it's growing. And the first leading cause for the death of the people between the age of 5 to 29 is again the road accident. So these are the global perspective. Now where we stand, so you all know about it, 52 accidents per hour, 19 deaths, 52 accidents per hour, 19 death per hour, and around 461 people are dying every day. So 2 दिन हम लोग यहाँ बैठे हैं तो close to 1000 लोग पूरे इंडिया में कहीं ना कहीं रोड एक्सीडेंट्स में चले गए होंगे. सो दिस इज द काइंड ऑफ सीवियरिटी वी हैव, दो वी आर कंट्रीब्यूटिंग द व्हीकल. इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द व्हीकल पॉपुलेशन ऑफ इंडिया इन कंपैरिजन टू द वर्ल्ड, सो इंडिया करीब 1% ऑफ पूरी व्हीकल कंट्रीब्यूट करता है दुनिया की. बट इफ यू टॉक अबाउट द एक्सीडेंट्स, so we are contributing almost more than 10% of the entire globe. So that is how we are. So we are number one in the world if I talk about the accident part. And there are several reasons for it. We talked about kya reasons hai. But right now I am going to talk about two important things, that lack of proper guidance and warning signs and poor visibility, how we can improve that particular things. So we are going to talk on that. So some of the staggered analysis, if I talk about, so we all learned in last 1.5 day conference that overspeeding is a major cause for the accidents. Around 68% of the people are met with an accident because of the overspeeding, and 66% of the total death is also happening because of that. And शार्प कर्व इज ऑल्सो कॉन्ट्रीब्यूटिंग अ लॉट. जहाँ पे बहुत शार्प कर्व होता है, तो एज पर द गवर्नमेंट स्टैटिस्टिक्स डेटा ऑफ द मॉर्थ, अराउंड 14% एक्सीडेंट्स विच आर हैपनिंग एट द शार्प कर्व, एंड 36% accidents happening at the night time. So night time, again, the visibility is one of the challenging factors. Bad weather road conditions is also very important, like rainfalls हो रहा है, foggy weather होता है, especially if I talk about the northern part of the country, in which you always find कि रात के टाइम पे visibility और even early morning time पे visibility drops drastically. हमको 10-15 मीटर की भी distance दिखाई नहीं पड़ता है. That time, lots of, if you realize the situation during that time, so road markings and road signs plays very important role to navigate you on the roads, because आपकी visibility नहीं होती है, but markings आपको दिखाई पड़ता है, signs दिखाई पड़ता है, तो आप उसके साथ में चलते जाते हो safely. So this is again a challenge. So as per the data, around 27% accidents happen in a bad weather conditions. And junctions is another the critical locations, like जहाँ पे minor roads, major roads के साथ meet up कर रहा है, या कोई विलेज रोड्स आ रही है और हाई स्पीड वहाँ पे, बिकॉज जनरली व्हाट हैपेंस इनटू दैट जंक्शंस, लॉट्स ऑफ हैबिटेट स्टार्ट्स कमिंग, कि शॉप्स बन जाते हैं, गाड़ी पार्किंग होती है, तो आपको दूसरे साइड से गाड़ी दिखती नहीं है. एज अ रिजल्ट समटाइम्स इट हैपेंस. सो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट such vulnerable locations we have to remove that all hazards which are present there. So as per the data, around 1.2 lakhs accidents happened in 2022 at the junctions. So these are the few staggered information. अगर आप ये डेटा देखेंगे तो मंथ वाइज डेटा इज ऑल्सो शोन इन द मिनिस्ट्री डॉक्यूमेंट, सो इन विच यू रियलाइज दैट वेदर लाइक विंटर that accident starts increasing. And if you see in the night time, जहाँ पे time after 6 o'clock till 9, 10, 11, 12, so that time also accident starts increasing. So we presume that visibility also very critical during that time. हो सकता है उनको किसी को दिखाई नहीं पड़ती है, and especially if I talk about two-wheelers, bicyclers. So because you have seen that 60% of the accidents are for the two-wheelers, which is vulnerable. बहुत ऐसे लोग हैं जो गाड़ी पे नहीं है, they are crossing the road, as a result they are not visible और वो accidents होता है. So visibility is again important thing. So now here comes the critical part is signages, markings, all those things that will improve your visibility, and reflective plays very important role over there. So now like we learnt about the Indian Penal Code, lots of things our sir has talked about. But if I talk about engineering point of view, so engineering में भी sir there are several documents that regulations are available. Basis of that all the that road design, signages, markings and all those things are being done. सर ने अभी बहुत सारे road markings आपको दिखाए थे last presentation में, बहुत सारे road signs दिखाए थे. So every markings, every sign has some regulations, some rules are there. So we call it a IRC manuals, like IPC, Indian Penal Code. So IRC is Indian Roads Congress. So they make lots of this regulation. So ये जो list है सर, ये list basis of the product, basis of the road scenarios and other important related, like you can see here IRC 67, which is the guidelines for the road signs. जितने भी road signs आपको road पे दिखते हैं, that is on the basis of IRC 67. All road markings you are seeing on the road, that is on the basis of IRC 35. And IRC 79 is other reflective material, we call it delineation systems, all the delineation systems. So I'll go a little bit about, will give you some glimpse of it. And SP 55 is the work zone. Work zone ऐसे area को हम बोलते हैं जहाँ पे construction भी चल रही है और vehicle की ही movement होती है. And that area is also sometimes plays very vulnerable locations. हमारे data के हिसाब से close to 4,000 accidents are happening in the work zone area. जहाँ पे sudden आपको पता नहीं चलता है कि कुछ है, वहां पे रोड पे लोग काम करते हैं, स्पीड से व्हीकल आती है और वहां पे एक्सीडेंट्स हो जाता है. सो दीज आर द फ्यू इंपॉर्टेंट लोकेशंस. लास्ट वन इज द वेरिएबल मैसेज साइन, VMS. सो आपने आजकल नया कंसेप्ट देखा होगा डिजिटल साइन बोर्ड्स का, एंड दैट इज द कॉन्टेक्चुअल इन्फॉर्मेशन. इट गिव्स यू इन्फॉर्मेशन अबाउट द टाइम टेकिंग फ्रॉम हियर टू एयरपोर्ट, या बीच में कहीं पे कोई, जैसे आप अपना गूगल मैप्स देखते हो जिसको देख के यू मूव ऑन अ रोड. So similarly, the variable message sign will give you the information of the context, weather conditions or a rerouting of your routes, and all those information are there. Apart from that, there are, as for the road scenarios, other manuals are 2-lane, 4-lane, 6-lane, expressway. There are several manuals. इसके अंदर में भी एक separate chapters है that talks about how the signages, markings, all those things are together. उसके बाद सर जब भी कोई प्रोजेक्ट होता है वहां पे रोड सेफ्टी ऑडिट्स होती है. सो ऑडिट्स का जो सारा इंफॉर्मेशन है दैट इज गिवन इन SP 88. हाउ ऑडिट्स आर आल्सो बीन डन इन डिफरेंट स्टेजेस. पहले सबसे बिल्कुल आपने देखा सुना कि ब्लैक स्पॉट डेवलप हो जाता है, तो बट उसके पहले बहुत सारे हम उसको ऑडिट करते हैं, बट स्टिल इट हैपेंस. इट सो ये सारे गाइडलाइंस इज देयर इन दिस मैनुअल. इफ यू वांटेड टू डेवलप एनी पेडेस्ट्रियन फैसिलिटीज लाइक फुट ओवर ब्रिजेस, व्हीकल अंडरपासेस, bus parkings, so उसके लिए there is another IRC code that is 103. Any advertisement which are very close to the highways, तो उसके लिए भी separate guidelines are there. So these are the few important manual when we talk about the road safety aspects. So we refer all those manuals together. Now अब सर एक चीज हम समझते हैं कि रिफ्लेक्टिव, बिकॉज यू सी एवरीथिंग व्हेन यू ट्रैवल ऑन द रोड इन द नाइट टाइम्स, सो बहुत ज्यादा चमकता है कुछ चीजें रोड पे. तो वो क्या है, व्हाट इज द कंसेप्ट बिहाइंड इट? सो दैट कंसेप्ट इज कॉल्ड रेट्रो रिफ्लेक्शन. सो यू सी दिस रोड, दिस इज द रोड, एंड यहाँ पे एक क्रैश बैरियर्स लगा हुआ है, एंड इट्स अ डे टाइम पिक्चर. Suppose there is a no crash barrier, there is a no markings, no chevron signs are there. So there is a very high chance कि गाड़ी जाएगी straight और bend होने से पहले वो crash barrier को ही hit कर देगी, right? So this signs and markings helps them to guide properly on the road. So इसी पिक्चर को अगर हम रात के समय में देखेंगे तो just see how it is guiding you safely, कि आप उसको मैन्यूवर कर सकते हो without any challenges. So यहाँ पे science of retroreflection plays important role. So just understand the concept. There are 3 type of reflections. One is diffuse reflection. इसमें simply ये lights आ रहा है और वो reflect करता है surface को, and light scatters in different places and you see the object. Mirror reflection में क्या होता है? When you throw light on the mirror, it bends to the 45 degree from the normal plane. And third one is retroreflection. Retroreflection, what happens when any light source आपकी गाड़ी होती है, when you throw any lights on the signboards, so it bends the entire lights towards you. तभी आप साइन बोर्ड्स को बहुत ब्राइट देखते हो रात के टाइम में. राइट. तो मैं लंच ब्रेक में वी हैव आल्सो सेट अप वन डार्क रूम हियर इन दिस कैंपस इटसेल्फ, जहां पे आपका लंच एरिया उसके ठीक पीछे में है. सो इफ यू हैव अ टाइम, सो आई विल डेमोंस्ट्रेट ऑल दोस थिंग्स टू यू देयर. ऑल द प्रोडक्ट्स व्हिच आई एम गोइंग टू शो यू, इट इज देयर इन द लैब इटसेल्फ. तो इसमें क्या होता है, जो साइन बोर्ड्स होते हैं, उस साइन बोर्ड्स के बनाने के पीछे में देयर इज अ प्रिज्म इनसाइड, वेरी माइक्रो प्रिज्म, सो नॉट अ नॉर्मल फ्लेक्सिबल फ्लेक्स शीट्स एंड ऑल. उसमें प्रिज्म्स होते हैं. यू नो प्रिज्म्स का क्या होता है, टोटल इंटरनल रिफ्लेक्शंस होते हैं, और एज अ रिजल्ट इट बेंड्स द एंटायर लाइट टू यू. और अब जब भी आप लाइट थ्रो करते हो उसके ऊपर में, इट कम्स टुवर्ड्स यू. सो दैट इज द साइंस बिहाइंड इट. that again all the traffic signs visibility जो है बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स पे डिपेंड करता है. सो एज ऑफ द ड्राइवर इज वन ऑफ द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर्स. लाइक वी ऑल नो कि हमारे 30 ईयर एज के बाद में टू रीड एनीथिंग एट द सेम ईज यू नीड डबल द लाइट. मतलब मैं एक एग्जांपल बोलूं तो अगर मैं ये लाइट्स पे एक बुक को पढ़ सकता हूं टिल माय एज ऑफ 30, और मैं 43 का हो गया, तो मुझे उतनी आसानी से पढ़ने के लिए आई नीड डबल द लाइट. मतलब 3 ट्यूबलाइट चाहिए, 6 ट्यूबलाइट चाहिए, राइट. सिमिलरली, और मैं 56 का हो गया तो वी नीड वन मोर एडिशनल. सो विथ एज आर आईज लाइट स्टार्ट्स ड्रॉपिंग. तो हमारे लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि और आपके घर में अगर गाड़ी होती है तो इट्स डिफिकल्ट कि आप गाड़ी चला रहे हो, आपके फादर अगर गाड़ी चला रहे हैं तो यू पुट 2 एडिशनल लाइट इन द नाइट. इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल. सो वी नीड टू मेक आवर साइन बोर्ड्स इन सच अ वे विथ सच अ इंपॉर्टेंट मटेरियल कि रात के टाइम में भी उसकी विजिबिलिटी बहुत अच्छी हो, ऑल एज ग्रुप को हम कैटर कर सके. सो बेसिस ऑफ दैट जो रिफ्लेक्टिव साइंस बोर्ड्स हैं उसको अलग अलग कैटेगरीज में डिस्ट्रीब्यूट किया गया. दैट आई विल शो इट टू यू. एम्बियंट लाइट ऑल्सो प्लेज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल. साइन बोर्ड्स अगर लगे हैं जहां पे स्ट्रीट लाइट्स हैं तो वहां पे वो आपको विजिबल कई बार होता है, कई बार नहीं होता है. तो दैट इज अगेन इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर. पोजीशन ऑफ द साइन बोर्ड्स. आप जब ट्रैवल कर रहे हैं तो रियलाइज कि जो गैंट्री माउंटेड साइन बोर्ड होता है, सेंट्रिक ऑफ द रोड होता है, वो आपको थोड़ा सा कम ब्राइट दिखाई पड़ेगा, और जो शोल्डर पे फिक्स होता है वो बहुत ज्यादा ब्राइट दिखेगा. सो दैट इज द रीजन, बिकॉज लाइट की एंगल पे वो डिपेंड करता है. तो आई विल नॉट गो मोर इन डिटेल. So these are the few factors. अब देखिए, ये जो IRC 67 मैंने फर्स्ट स्लाइड में दिखाया था, विच इज गाइडलाइंस फॉर द रोड साइंस, उसमें साइन बोर्ड्स की जो मटेरियल्स हैं उसको 4 डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज में वी हैव डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड. टाइप 1, टाइप 4, टाइप 9 एंड टाइप 11. सो टाइप 1 इज द लेस रिफ्लेक्टिव मटेरियल, जो हम स्लो स्पीड के रोड्स पे लगाते हैं, लाइक PMGSY के रोड हैं, ग्राम सड़क योजना के रोड से होते हैं वहां पे, जिसकी रिफ्लेक्टिविटी बहुत कम है, गाड़ी बहुत स्लो चलती है वहां पे. बट द टाइप 11 इज द एक्सप्रेस वे, जहां पे बहुत हाई स्पीड के रोड चल रहे हैं वहां पे. सो IRC ने किस तरह के मटेरियल किस तरीके के रोड पे लगना है, दे हैव वेरी क्लियरली स्पेसिफाइड इन दिस टेबल. सो आपको इसके बेसिस पे दे कैन सेलेक्ट व्हाट टाइप ऑफ रिफ्लेक्टिव शीटिंग्स टू बी यूज्ड ऑन द ऑल द साइन बोर्ड्स. Now, as per the IRC 67, entire signboards are classified in 3 different categories: mandatory signs, cautionary signs, and informatory signs. तो mandatory signs are generally in the circle shape, और उसमें 2 उसके different shapes हैं, like stop and give way. ये भी mandatory sign है, but it's not in circular shape. It's a and the cautionary is always in a triangle shapes, right? And informatory signs are on the rectangular shape. So these are the and overall there are 214 number of different signs are given in the IRC 67. Now एक बहुत ही कॉमन सा इंफॉर्मेशन है, एंड इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू टू नो. सपोज एक 60 किलोमीटर IRC कोड ने दे हैव वेरी क्लियरली स्पेसिफाइड द डायमीटर, लेंथ, विड्थ एंड डिस्टेंस, ऑल द डायमेंशंस आर देयर इन द IRC कोड. तो जो सर्कुलर साइंस आप देखते हैं, इट्स नॉट ऑलवेज विद द सेम साइज. इट शुड बी वेरीज बेसिस ऑफ द डिजाइन स्पीड ऑफ द रोड. अगर रोड की स्पीड 65 किलोमीटर पर आवर है, 0 से 65 किलोमीटर पर आवर है, तो आपकी जो डायमीटर होगी वो 300 mm की होगी. बट इफ इट इज इंक्रीजिंग बाय फ्रॉम 65 टू 100 एंड मोर देन 120, सो उसकी डायमीटर 1.5 मीटर हो जाएगा. मतलब छोटे सर्कल से वो बड़ा सर्कल हो जाएगा, बिकॉज आप जब बहुत हाई स्पीड में होते हो तो आपकी रीडेबिलिटी कैपेसिटी थोड़ी कम हो जाती है, तो यू नीड बिगर साइज टू रीड द सेम थिंग, राइट? कॉशनरी साइंस भी जैसे है, ट्राइंगल साइंस इज अ कॉशनरी साइंस. इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि कॉशनरी साइंस को हम राइट पोजीशन पे भी पुट इन, जहां पे कॉशन है. कॉशनरी साइंस कैसे, गैप इन मीडियंस हैं या यू टर्न्स ले रहे हैं. सो दीज आर द कॉशनरी साइंस. सो इट्स इंपॉर्टेंट टू प्लेस एट द राइट मोमेंट. इसमें भी सेम चीज है कि अगर आपकी स्पीड स्लो है तो कॉशनरी साइंस के जो वन साइड विल बी 600 mm, आप देखिए टेबल में. बट इफ योर स्पीड इज वेरी हाई ऑन द रोड, मे बी 80 to 100 है, तो 1.2 मीटर का लेंथ वन साइड में हो जाएगा. एंड प्लेसमेंट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. आप देखिए लास्ट कॉलम जो इसका है, दैट इज इफ द स्पीड इज 50 किलोमीटर्स, तो आपके वो कॉशन वाले पॉइंट से वो 45 मीटर पहले फिक्स करना है. बट अगर वो स्पीड बहुत हाई है, like 120 kilometer per hour है, तो then you have to fix around 245 meters from that particular locations. Generally I find lots of places when बड़े शहर में तो फिर भी ठीक है, बट इफ यू गो एंड सी इन स्मॉल प्लेसेस सिटीज, यू विल फाइंड कि जहां पे हजार्ड, जहां पे कॉशन वाला पॉइंट एग्जैक्टली वहीं पे वो लगा देते हैं. सो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि उसके पहले हो, ड्राइवर शुड हैव अ टाइम टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट साइन एंड बेसिस ऑफ दैट दे टेक द डिसीजन ऑन इट. राइट, ये कुछ डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ इंफॉर्मेटरी साइंस है. लाइक ओवरहेड गैंट्री बोलते हैं जब ऊपर से क्रॉस करता है, देन कैंटिलीवर टाइप, बटरफ्लाई टाइप एंड शोल्डर माउंटेड. सो ये डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ साइन बोर्ड्स हैं. नाउ कलर इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ये भी एक पॉइंट है कि आप कई बार देखते हो साइन बोर्ड के अलग अलग कलर्स है, तो कई बार ब्लू हो जाता है, कहीं ग्रीन होता है, कहीं व्हाइट होता है. सो व्हाट इज द डिफरेंट कलर सिग्निफाइज? सो व्हेन देयर इज अ ग्रीन कलर साइन बोर्ड्स, इट मींस दैट रोड इज from the national highway, state highway or MDR का रोड है. If it is a blue in color, so that road is either expressway or urban city. If it is a white color and white background, I mean, so in that way it's a village road or ODR road. So this is the color signifies on the signboards. Then it's very important कि साइन बोर्ड जब लगा है तो मेंटेनेंस भी होना चाहिए, एंड IRC कोड इज ऑल्सो टॉकिंग अबाउट. सो इट शुड बी प्रॉपर शेड्यूलिंग होनी चाहिए. इंजीनियरिंग डिपार्टमेंट, PWD और म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन, whosoever installed, so it should be checked clean in every 6 months टाइम फ्रेम. और बैक में उसके रेफरेंसेस भी होना बहुत जरूरी है कि किस मटेरियल का बना है, क्या है. देन some of the important road furnitures I just wanted to show. अगर आप ये रोड का पिक्चर देखेंगे तो you'll find all the important road furnitures are here. So start from, so I'll go one by one very fast on it. So यहाँ पे देखिए ये road delineator है. So road delineator, you must have seen this type of road delineator. So it is again confirming to IRC 79. कई बार मैंने नोटिस किया है कि लॉट्स ऑफ प्लेसेस दे पुट मल्टीपल कलर्स ऑफ रोड डेलिनेटर्स. ये जो व्हाइट कलर की जगह पे रेड, ग्रीन, येलो सब लगा देते हैं. सो दैट इज ऑल रॉन्ग प्रैक्टिस. सो दैट इज नॉट एज पर द IRC 79. सो उनको जब भी आपने नोटिस करना, आप अपने स्टेट में रहते हो, आप नोटिस करते हो कोई भी कलरफुल डेलिनेटर्स लगा है, तो यू कैन क्वेश्चन टू द योर पब्लिक वर्क्स डिपार्टमेंट कि दिस इज नॉट एज पर द रूल्स. इंजीनियरिंग डिपार्टमेंट का जो है वो नहीं है, आप इसको चेंज करवाइए, बिकॉज यू पीपल आर एनफोर्समेंट साइड. सो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू शुड नो अबाउट इट. सो ये कुछ डिफरेंट, इट शुड बी ऑलवेज इन द ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट कलर्स. कोई तीसरा कलर नहीं लगेगा इसमें. Now median visibility is again a challenges in the city. Small cities में वहाँ पे रोड की width बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं होती है. So sometimes they put a median, 1 फीट का 1.5 फीट का medians डाल देते हैं, and drivers are not aware और suddenly वो median के ऊपर में गाड़ी चली जाती है. So how you can improve the median for it? So there are one product which IRC recommends. So that this product is called flexible median marker. So you can improve the visibility with the help of flexible median marker. And it's a highly flexible in nature. Again, it's the highest grade of reflective sheeting, type 11, fluorescent yellow colors are there. And ये bounce back होता है, अगर इसको आप bend भी करेंगे तो it can rebound back, right? This is the few pictures which you can see. Another very important product, again IRC 79 talks about aluminum flexible prismatic. So it's a very flexible, highly flexible material, और prismatic material होता है जिसको आप किसी भी चीज पे रैप कर सकते हो. It comes in a roll. Either you can put on the concrete, you can put on the crash barriers, और electric poles में लगा सकते हैं. ट्री अगर बीच रोड पे है, हजार्ड है, सर ने बोला पहले तो हजार्ड नहीं होना चाहिए. हजार्ड है उसको प्रोटेक्ट करना है, उसको दिखना चाहिए दूर से कि देयर इज सम हजार्ड. और समटाइम्स कोई पोल्स बहुत क्लोज हैं कैरेज वे के, तो यू कांट रिमूव इमीडिएटली. सो आप इस पे ये प्रोडक्ट AFP जो प्रोडक्ट है, एल्यूमिनियम फ्लेक्सिबल प्रिज्मेटिक, एज पर IRC 79. सो यू कैन रैप अराउंड इट. आप देख रहे हैं ये फोटो राउंड अबाउट्स के चारों तरफ लगा हुआ है. सो ये कुछ एप्लीकेशंस हैं. These are the few applications for the using AFP. Now let's come to the vehicle safety. अभी तक मैंने road safety से related solutions fast improvement के लिए बोला, because vehicle is equally vulnerable in the night time. So उसके लिए हम क्या कर सकते हैं? There are certain rules. So these are the different categories. I'll not go in it. So कुछ government ने rules बनाए हैं. So related to the vehicle safety. So the first one gadget came in 2008 and then after that it is revised in 2019. So as per the जैसे हमने IRC standard देखा था roads के लिए, वैसे vehicle के लिए government AIS standard बनाया है. AIS is automotive Indian standards, AIS. So AIS 90 talks about the reflective tapes. आपने गाड़ी के साइड में टेप्स देखे होंगे, कमर्शियल व्हीकल्स के साइड में टेप्स देखे होंगे लगे हुए. सो दैट इज ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ AIS 90. तो उसमें क्या रूल्स था? पहले रूल्स था कि जो भी गाड़ी 2010 के पहले की है उसमें जरूरत नहीं थी लगाने की, जो उसके बाद जो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग भी उसको उसी में सिर्फ लगेगा. बट when we reached out to the government and we said कि तो नई गाड़ी से ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है पुरानी गाड़ी में होना चाहिए, बिकॉज उसके लाइट्स वाइट्स प्रॉपरली काम नहीं करते हैं. सो दे हैव रिवाइज दैट अमेंडमेंट एंड न्यू गैजेट हैज कम अप. तो उसमें रिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ द एनी डेट ऑफ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ऑफ द कमर्शियल व्हीकल्स आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट उस कैरिंग पैसेंजर्स और पीपल, सो उसमें ये टेप्स लगे होने चाहिए. एंड उसमें टेप्स के सिस्टम से साइड में येलो टेप्स लगेंगे, येलो रिफ्लेक्टिव टेप्स लगेंगे, बैक में रेड लगेगा एंड फ्रंट में व्हाइट लगेगा. सो दिस इज द रेगुलेशंस फॉर इट. And apart from that, they have included in 2019 that reflective tapes should be used in the auto rickshaws and e-rickshaws also. So इन दोनों में भी होना मैंडेटरी है. So अगर आप ये गैजेट्स देखेंगे GSR 807E 23 October 2019 आपको गूगल पे मिल जाएगा and you'll find that information. Anyway, this presentation is going to be shared by sir to everyone. तो ये आपके पास में रहेगा, तो you can refer that also. Then apart from that, another GSR came for the long ट्रेलर्स, जो बड़ी बड़ी ट्रेलर्स हैं जिसमें मल्टीपल व्हील्स होते हैं, उसके लिए आया है. उसमें एज पर द AIS 19 रियर मार्किंग प्लेट्स और रियर मार्किंग टेप्स वी कॉल इट. सो AIS 89 वो रेगुलेशंस है, उसमें ये रिफ्लेक्ट, मैं कुछ पिक्चर्स दिखाऊंगा. एंड द थर्ड वन रेगुलेशंस केम रिलेटेड टू HSRP, हाई सिक्योरिटी लाइसेंस प्लेट. सो उसमें भी रिफ्लेक्टिव मटेरियल्स यूज होता है. दैट इज द रीजन यू सी इन द नाइट टाइम्स नंबर प्लेट्स एंड ऑल, क्योंकि ANPR कैमरास उसको रीड कर सकता है. सो दैट इज द रीजन वी नीड दैट. सो अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट एक और रेगुलेशन है व्हीकल से रिलेटेड, दैट इज जो उसकी फिटनेस है, दैट फिटनेस इज टू बी चेक्ड एवरी 2 years. ऐसे व्हीकल्स जो 8 साल से नए हैं और जो पुराने व्हीकल्स हैं वो एवरी ईयर इट हैज टू कम टू द फिटनेस में ये टेप्स, ब्रेकिंग सिस्टम्स, ऑल दोस थिंग्स दे ऑलरेडी चेक. So just because lots of fake products are also available. जब भी आप कभी देख रहे हो व्हीकल को, तो there is some markings of the manufacturers and there is a license number given to the manufacturer by the testing agencies. तो ये सारे numbers, if you see there is A94 something like that. So such numbers are there and it can be verified with the help of that. ये एक method है जिससे आप check कर सकते हो. Retroreflectometer is the equipment through which you can check the authenticity of the product. It will give you the certain value of the CIL value, we call it, coefficient of illuminations. That value will come with the help of this meter. तो ये टेस्टिंग दोनों के लिए होता है, गाड़ी के रिफ्लेक्टिव के लिए भी होता है और साइन बोर्ड्स के भी रिफ्लेक्टिविटी के लिए टेस्टिंग होता है. See some of the examples and pictures like ये ट्रक्स के पीछे फ्रंट में you must have seen like this. तो how better it is improving the visibility अगर high long vehicles हैं. So these tapes are clearly visible. नाइट टाइम में इफ यू सी द मिडिल वाली फोटो अगर देखेंगे तो ये फॉगी सिचुएशन से लेके, यू कैन सी द हेडलाइट की जो विजिबिलिटी है वो बहुत लेस है इन कंपैरिजन टू टेप. So that is how it helps to identify vehicle in the bad weather conditions. Government के कुछ initiatives हैं. If you see this is one of the regulations came in 2023. Every year Ministry of Road Transport circulate. तो इसमें road safety month होता है, road safety पखवाड़ा we celebrate. So वहाँ पे ये कुछ initiatives they have listed. So one initiative is related to दिस आई चेकअप, आप देखेंगे लास्ट में लिखा हुआ है. फिर कई बार उसमें दूसरा है कि टेप्स सभी व्हीकल में होना चाहिए टू इंप्रूव द विजिबिलिटी. सो दैट इज अनदर थिंग. जस्ट सो ये रियर मार्किंग टेप है जो मैंने बोला, लॉन्ग व्हीकल्स के पीछे में इस तरह के रिफ्लेक्टिव मटेरियल्स लगे होते हैं. These are the few pictures of the rear marking tape. You can see the difference. And अभी recent amendment हुआ any kind of construction related vehicles, because construction related जैसे JCBs होते हैं तो वो ना irregular उसका shapes होता है, कुछ part it is projected लेफ्ट राइट फ्रंट ऐसे निकला होता है. तो it's not mandatory that all the construction equipment vehicles should also be fixed with the reflective tapes. और रिफ्लेक्टिव टेप्स के सर मैंने जो भी टेप्स लगेगा वो AIS 90 के रेगुलेशंस के हिसाब से लगेगा. एंड इट शुड नॉट बी एनी जस्ट की टेप को ही लगा दिया. इट शुड बी विजिबल इन द नाइट टाइम. Barricades is another thing because lots of accidents happen in our country. Police cops are standing behind the barricades और रात को हाई स्पीड से गाड़ी आती है, दिखता नहीं है. कोविड के टाइम में दिल्ली में एक एक्सीडेंट हुआ था दिल्ली पुलिस के साथ में. 2 policemen was standing behind the barricade और suddenly गाड़ी है, उनको पता नहीं चला और वो उनके ऊपर barricades गिर गए. So it's a very small thing. Just you put this tape on the barricades, and you can see that visibility from the 100-200 meters distance of it. And if you see this, there's one letter which is being suggested by the Ministry of Road Transport that all after that incidents, ये उन्होंने rules निकाला कि जितने भी barricades हैं उस पे आप tapes लगाइए so that you can improve the visibility of it. तो कुछ अपार्ट फ्रॉम ऑल दोस रेगुलेशंस मैं कुछ जनरल सेफ्टी टिप्स के बारे में बात करना चाहता था. सो DIY मीन्स डू इट योरसेल्फ, राइट, इंप्रूव द लाइफ ऑफ द पीपल. There are some incidents I have seen in Rajasthan police. They are doing lots of initiative. वो रात के टाइम पे वो रोड पे pilgrims जाते हैं और they cut reflective tapes and put on their shoulders और वो ग्रुप्स में जाते हैं तो it is visible from the long distance. Very less investment. 10 रुपए भी नहीं लगता एक आदमी के ऊपर में, but you are saving the life of lots of people. So 2 व्हीलर्स पे, बाइसिकल्स पे रात के टाइम में, बिकॉज आपने अभी देखा सारे डेटा के हिसाब से बाइसिकल्स 2 व्हीलर्स दे आर हाईली वल्नरेबल, उनके लाइट्स नहीं होती. सो अगर वो छोटे से ये टेप्स और ऐसी चीजों को लगा करके अपनी लाइफ को दे कैन सेव इट. ट्रैक्टर इज अनदर vehicles or we have seen some of the areas, some areas in Maharashtra, some areas in northern UP part जहाँ पे sugar canes वाला एरिया है और वो they carry lots of sugar canes. इतना ऊंचा होता है कि ट्रैक्टर्स के 3-4 times वो कवर करके लेके जाते हैं. And every year, because I stay in Delhi near in Noida place, तो वहाँ से उस रूट पे हमारा जाने का मौका मिलता है. तो आप अगर ट्रैवल करें फ्रॉम दिल्ली टुवर्ड्स हरिद्वार, so in the month of winter time you'll find every day one tractors are hit by some other vehicle from the back. So we drove one initiative with the help of police department and regional transport office of Meerut. तो वहाँ पे हमने एक NGO के थ्रू वहाँ पे करीब 2000 ट्रैक्टर्स ट्रेलर्स में ये रिफ्लेक्टिव टेप्स लगाए थे. एंड यू विल बी सरप्राइज टू नो दैट ईयर नन ऑफ द सिंगल एक्सीडेंट्स हैपेंड. आप यहाँ पे देखिए दिन के टाइम में, बिकॉज प्रॉब्लम इज दैट ट्रेलर्स इज वेरी इरेगुलर साइज, दैट इज उसका कोई सेफ साइज होता नहीं, उसमें कोई लाइट्स भी नहीं होती पीछे में. तो वो आप यहाँ पे देखें रात के टाइम, ये दिन का फोटो है, वो रात का फोटो, कुछ भी विजिबल नहीं. फिर हमने एक डे और नाइट के टाइम का फोटो में टेप्स लगा के खींचा तो दैट इज हाईली विजिबल देयर. सो दीज आर द फ्यू वेरी लेस. ये गन्ने का यू कैन सी दैट ट्रेलर्स फुल ऑफ गन्नास और सिर्फ टेप दिखाई पड़ रहा है, बाकी कुछ भी पता नहीं चल रहा है नाइट टाइम में क्या है उसमें. Then some of the emergency vehicles also, police is equally vulnerable because आप लोग रोड पे रात के टाइम पे you patrol, so it's very important that your vehicle should also be visible, highly visible in the night time. जब भी एक्सीडेंट्स होता है या कुछ हिट करता है तो उसको पता नहीं होता है कि सामने पुलिस की गाड़ी है किसकी गाड़ी है. So lots of great initiative are being done by different states. आपको कुछ यूपी के पिक्चर्स, ये जो लेफ्ट साइड में आप देख रहे हैं यूपी के पुलिस की कुछ पिक्चर्स हैं गाड़ी की, उन्होंने कुछ वर्क करे थे रिफ्लेक्टिव्स के ऊपर में. सो दीज आर द फ्यू पिक्चर्स वेयर पुलिस आल्सो मेट विथ एन एक्सीडेंट, क्योंकि बिकॉज उनकी विजिबिलिटी नहीं थी वहाँ पे. दीज आर द करंट सिनेरियोज. पुलिस आप रोड के क्रॉस पे गाड़ी खड़ी करके पेट्रोल करते हैं रात के टाइम पे. and they are painted with some numbers, colors, police department की अपनी branding होती है. So you are highly equally vulnerable on the roads because of all those challenges. So एक example देखिए, ये day time का picture है, दिल्ली पुलिस की एक गाड़ी खड़ी है और वो night time का picture है, रोड के क्रॉस खड़ी है, बट वो राइट वाला पिक्चर इज नॉट विजिबल. सो हाउ वी कैन इंप्रूव? सो इंटरनेशनल पुलिस जो है, जितने भी इंटरनेशनल पुलिस हैं, उनकी अपनी ब्रांडिंग होती है. So these are their pictures. Night time, few of the pictures I'll just skip. So this is one concept we have proposed to Delhi Police. So उन्होंने अपने गाड़ियों पे implement किया था, and this is very highly visible now. ये ब्रांडिंग भी हो गई एंड ऑल दोस पिक्चर्स आर इक्वली विजिबल. ये कुछ पेट्रोल व्हीकल्स यूपी पुलिस के हैं जो उन्होंने अपनी ब्रांडिंग करी व्हीकल की, एंड दैट इज हाईली विजिबल इन द नाइट टाइम्स, दूर से दिखाई पड़ता है. दीज आर द फ्यू बैरिकेडिंग्स, आई विल जस्ट रश थ्रू. हम छोटे से इनिशिएटिव्स थे, हाउ वी कैन इम्प्रूव. दीज आर द फ्यू कंसेप्ट. This is Chennai police. They have initiated all the barricades of the Chennai with reflective material. So ये daytime, nighttime का picture है. Even if you talk to the city, some of the people who are going to give this as a CSR activities also, you can put barricades. They can put their branding, and as a result, visibility improves. ये कुछ करंट सिनेरियोज हैं. यू कैन इम्प्रूव दिस विजिबिलिटी बाय पुटिंग सम स्मॉल थिंग्स, बिकॉज आपके पुलिस भी सेंटर पर रोड पे खड़े होते हैं. देन there is no specific rules for the percentage, because important is that things should be visible. So I have not seen any things about that, how much is the area covered by the but it's very important that color of the hazard is black and yellow, so it should be highly visible, and in center somewhere their names, logos could be there. So please sir.
स्टेट में ये सड़क सुरक्षा फोर्सेस देयर,
राइट.
तो वहां पे हमने एक चीज सजेस्ट किया था कि ये जो उनकी बाजू है ये सबसे पहले निकलती है और ये दिखता नहीं है. नाइट टाइम में क्या है, उनको क्रैश करके ले जाती है गाड़ी. तो अगर रिफ्लेक्टिव मटेरियल उनकी बाजू पे भी लगा दिया जाए तो दैट विल बी हेल्पफुल. और ये हमने इनिशिएटिव लिया था, उनको गाइड किया था. उसके बाद सड़क सुरक्षा फोर्स में
तो आप मेरे साथ आइएगा, आई विल एक्सप्लेन एवरीथिंग इन दैट. सो डार्क रूम इज देयर, हाउ द नाइस रोड विल बी विजिबल ड्यूरिंग द नाइट टाइम, तो हम आपको डेमोन्स्ट्रेट कर देंगे लंच टाइम पे.
थैंक यू वेरी मच. थोड़ा सा करेक्शन है इसमें, लंच टाइम की जगह हम टी ब्रेक करेंगे, जब हाई टी करेंगे उस समय देख लेंगे.
ओके
क्योंकि हाँ, लंच जो है वो मेस में अरेंजमेंट है.
ओके सर, आई एम सॉरी.
तो थैंक यू वेरी मच. थैंक यू सर. स्वतंत्र सर, एक छोटा सा अनाउंसमेंट है. आप में से कोई ऐसा है जिसने इसमें कल एंट्री नहीं की है या आज नहीं की है? प्लीज. हाँ, कल जिसने किया था उसकी बात, मतलब एक ही बार एंट्री करनी है. नहीं, एक मिनट. ये जो है अटेंडेंस सीट थी कल की, तो जिन्होंने कल भी नहीं की है वो प्लीज एक बार मैं दे रहा हूँ, आप एक बार बुला के इनसे कर लीजिएगा, ठीक है ना? जिन्होंने कल भी एंट्री नहीं की है, इसी के बेस पे सर्टिफिकेट बनने हैं. अगर किसी को डाउट हो तो एक बार मिला के चेक कर लीजिएगा, ठीक है?
कल वाला ही है,
कल वाला ही है. जिसने कल का रखा उसको रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है, ठीक है ना? वही सेम सीट है ये. ओके. For we are now I request Siddharth Rokre sir to please come on the stage. Sir, I request sir to please give a memento to Swatantr sir. Now we are 13 minutes away from our lunch time and Ashwini Baga sir is here. So for last session before lunch, Public Works Department, Government of Rajasthan, under a World Bank funded project. As consultant, he was deputed in State Road Safety Cell, Department of Transport and Road Safety, Government of Rajasthan. Later, he continued his engagement with the department on different topics related to road safety, and he is still associated with it. He has been actively involved in various assignments, including policy formulation, planning, road safety inspection, report writing, data analysis, research and development, training and capacity building, and writing books on road safety as a subject matter expert. Some of his major achievements with government in the field of road safety include development of road safety action plan, notification of scheme made under section 135 of Motor Vehicle Act, inspection of various sketches of national highways, preparation of assessment of reports for Honorable Supreme Court Committee on Road Safety. Sir, now the session is all yours, sir.
Thank you so much for such a long introduction. I'll not take much of your time. Basically, the presentation which I have today is the titled Association Rule Mining Using the Road Crash Data. Am I audible? Okay. Now this is a research-based presentation. So the implementation part of it is very small. If that is only the 25% of the presentation is the implementation. But I have given some explanation to set the context what exactly I wanted to do. So, as Sir has already told, this is my just a brief portfolio. I'm involved in various activities, and the major part which I enjoy the most is the capacity building and training. So, moving on to the presentation, this is the agenda of my today's topic. So, I'll discuss a brief about machine learning, the relevance of IRAD, and application of AR mining, and finally what I have concluded, so that are given and discussed in our results. So first of all, let us talk about machine learning. The machine learning is just nothing. It is we can say it's a subset of artificial intelligence. So, and it is based on certain set of mathematical principles using statistics or probability, and majorly it is used to create certain models. So we can say it is based on some mathematics, and so they are mostly used for making predictions or doing some sort of analysis. So the main ingredient when we talk about machine learning is only data. So we need data to implement any particular algorithm. So that is the you can say the primary requirement. Okay. So what sort of problems we can solve through machine learning? So there are different classifications. So it can be regression classification, clustering, association rule, reinforcement learning, natural language processing, deep learning, and dimensionality reduction. So I'll not say that I have mastered all the techniques, but I have gradually learned, and I am doing this thing, and few of the algorithms which I have implemented in my for this doing this my research in road safety. So today my focus will be on the association rule. What is association rule and how I have implemented. So this I just wanted to demonstrate. So there are various categories. So major are 4 categories of machine learning, which is known as the supervised learning, unsupervised learning, semi-supervised, and which is called as the last one is the reinforcement learning. So if you have heard about the robotics, so that comes in the reinforcement learning. So when we say supervised and unsupervised, so that means we have some set of data, and based on that set of data, some learning is taken by the model. So model learns from the data, and it gives its predictions. So that is the meaning of supervised learning. So my main focus will be on the association, which is the unsupervised learning. It belongs to the unsupervised category. So this is just I'm giving a brief overview what happens. So let's say we have a database and some records are there. So it is not for, I'm not saying it is applicable in all the types of algorithms. I'm just giving one intuition. So once we have the data, so if we want to build a model and we want to predict something, so that data is basically divided into 2 different data sets. So one is known as the training set and one is known as the test set. Now it depends on us at what ratio we want to divide this training and test set. Generally it is said that we sometimes we make 80-20 and sometimes we make 70-30 ratio. So in the training set, that actually model learns from the training set. So once it has learned the analysis which is there in the data, then it applies that same prediction or the same learning to the test set. And after that we evaluate its performance. So performance may be in terms of its accuracy, or it may be a recall or precision. There are certain parameters we test. So generally there is for one problem solving we may have multiple algorithms. So what happens is we put one algorithm, sometimes we may put the bunch of algorithms, then we combine the results and we evaluate the result which algorithm is performing much, or which algorithm is giving the much better results. So it is all test and trial, and sometimes we combine 2 or more algorithms and we make it a complex solution to make it give a simpler output. So this is basically the idea. So I am just giving a brief hint of IRAD. So why am I putting IRAD into this particular picture now? Since before when the IRAD was not launched, earlier the accident data was recorded manually. now we have a facility in which we electronically store the data of accidents in the IRAD. But actually speaking, the data for which I have done by analysis is not taken from the IRAD itself, because at this particular stage, a particular data cannot be retrieved from the IRAD. Rather, it gives certain analysis which are built into the IRAD. Okay, so for an example, there is a 4 screenshot I am sharing from the mobile application. So here we can see the initial observation of the accident scene. So there are 4 different sets. So the most beautiful thing that IRAD has done is it has given multiple options to check, because for certain kind of an accident there can be a single cause or there can be a multiple cause of a road crash. So a particular investigation officer can put a check mark on each of the items that he has observed. So the point is, if your data is correct, or if your data is quality data, then your output that will generate, whatever model that you built through that data, that will be useful. But if your observations are not at past standards and we are filling just for sake of completing this entry, then that data will not be useful for the any sort of analysis. So our focus is to how to collect the quality data. Unless and until we have quality data, no analysis can be done on data. So this is the, you can see there are multiple causes can be given, and there are certain other parameters which we have. The entry can be done through by checking multiple checkboxes. So this is the relevance. So based on this idea, so what we can do, if we have multiple causes of, let's say, crash, for a one crash there are multiple causes we have recorded. For example, contra flow movement or wrong side driving or overspeeding, or he was also drunk, and all the check marks are recorded, and these particular causes saved. So that is a separate matter that we can further we can classify what was the primary cause or what are the secondary cause or what are the tertiary cause. So that is a separate matter. But for the association rule mining, which are the algorithm which I have implemented, so there is no need of defining the primary, secondary or a tertiary cause of accident. So this can be done on a separate manner. So now I come to the how the association rule mining does, and what is the basic idea behind the association rule mining is. See, when we talk about association rule mining is, let's say I take the example of the one accident. So there are multiple causes of accident which has been recorded. Let's say we have several thousand records, and there are some possible chances that there are some association of one cause to another cause. Let's say wrong side and overspeed, or wrong side or animal movement, or drunk driving or rash driving. How we will analyze that there is some relation between two causes? If your number of records are, let's say you have only 100 records, you can manually see and you can put some check, and you can put some algorithm or some formula to just say then check out which are the two possible causes which are more or responsible for a crashes. But let's say if I take an example of my state Rajasthan, where more than 25 or let's say 24,000 accidents are happening per annum, then how we will visualize this particular thing, how we will calculate or how we will analyze if there are multiple causes, which two causes are causing more crashes, then it will be difficult. Here comes the importance of association rule. So we'll put some algorithm to find out how this particular thing can be checked. Until now we are having just one particular responsible factor, which is overspeed, that we all know. So this is just a hypothecation that we have tried to solve. If there are some multiple things are available, how we can make relations between them, and you can find out some solution, and based on that solution we can give some interventions. So this is the meaning of the association rule. So the most of the you can say important real life scenario that you can often see. If you go into a convenience store, you will find that they have strategically put their product. They will put bread at one side and butter on other side, so that if you need these two things, you have to take a round of the entire store and you will pick some other item. So that is one thing. Even if you see some due to the either genre of the web series or the actor or the actress that was played a role, or some sort of let's say you can say some story that is related to inspiring stories. So this give you a suggestion. So if I give you this another picture, Can you find some correlation between these two things? One is a diaper and one is a beer can. Can you find a correlation between these two? Mother will be? So it is very difficult to, the point is sometimes we have such a difficult situation that we cannot imagine. So here association rule comes into picture. So this is a case study which was taken in some other country, not in India, because we do not have the diapers and beer cans available in a single store. But in the other countries it is available. So there are some certain other factors also which are important in this analysis. One factor is that the time of purchase of this item, that was evening. In the evening time, they purchased a diaper and they also purchased a beer can. And the gender of the buyer, so that was male. So that was the case study, and that was found due to this association rule. So people or in particular males who are buying this, they are going for a convenience store to buy a diaper for their baby. So due to that evening time, they want to get themselves refreshed, so they also buy a can of beer. So this is very, you can say, very you can say unique thing which cannot be come into our mind, that this relation can also be there. So here comes the role of the association rule mining. So there are various algorithms. The algorithm which I have put into place is known as the a priori algorithm. Now the a priori means which known as from the prior knowledge. How from the prior knowledge we can define something. Now I'll just take this example and I'll just explain through this how this a priori algorithm works. Let's say there are some 1,000 people. This is not 1,000 boxes at all. This is just for the explanation. Let's say out of 1,000 people, there are 100 people which overspeeded, right? So I'll take out its percentage. So this is known as the support. So these are some technical terms which are used in the algorithm. Now let's say out of these 100 people which overspeeded, they also did rash driving, and number of people were 30 out of 100. So this is known as the confidence. So we calculate the confidence. What is the confidence? And the third parameter which is calculated is known as the lift. So that is calculated based on the support and the confidence that we get. Now we get some sort of relation between the two. So now I can just say that there is a chances or there is a possibility of 30%, there are 30% chances or there is a probability that the 100 people who are overspeeding might go for rash driving. So this is a calculation. Now why this particular calculation is important if I have to analyze data based on the algorithm? The reason is, now based on the business study or the case study you have, you need to have certain parameters to be fixed. That is the minimum value I want. So out of 100, I will just only be interested only if there are 50% chances that the people will be doing these two mistakes. So that is known as some minimum threshold we need to set. So that minimum threshold you have to set for all these three parameters. That is for the support, that how many people, let's say you are saying that only 5 people are making mistakes out of 200, no use. It will be very less. So we need to set some minimum support, some minimum confidence and some minimum lift. So when we are ready with our this parameters, then we will apply to this algorithm. Now this is an overview of the database. Now as I said, there is no such database available as of now, and even I cannot take help from the IRAD, because IRAD is a particular software which gives you some sort of, let's say, some reports are generated based on the accidents which are entered into it. So for this particular purpose, I don't have any database, so I have generated a synthetic database where I have entered the violations, or say the cause of accident. Maybe in a single row you may have a one cause, or maybe two multiple causes, or maybe have 3, or maybe more than 3. So it depends. So this is a kind of a table which I made, with data was filled manually by using some formula. So I have created a database of having almost 7,500 such records. Then I use these parameters to set my support, confidence and the lift values, which I set it as minimum 0.01, 0.5 and 3.0. 3.0 is basically 30%. of the lift. Then I run this algorithm. So there is a program which I have written in Python, and after that, what the result I get is out of the 705,000 records, so it gave me the associations of certain selected cause of accidents. If you can see, there are cause of accident, animal movement and low visibility. This is the relation. So distraction and mobile use, rash driving, drunk driving, unauthorized parking, low visibility, potholes or road engineering. You cannot say that it is authentic because the database is created. Now, the second thing that I have to do is, after applying this algorithm, I will sort this table according to the lift in the descending order or the association rule. Okay. Now, based on this, so this is again same I have depicted graphically. So, which is the higher lift, which is showing is in this particular graph. Now, based on this particular scenario, now I can draft certain or put together certain interventions to be taken. So if you know that two causes are there, so what are the interventions? Now based on methodology, you can put a historical approach, and you can have all the let's say all the pillars of road safety. You can take actions accordingly, or you can take certain set of actions that you think that are or that can be helpful for preventing road crashes. I'll just take one example. Let's say for this rash plus drunk driving, let's say the suggestive interventions can be enforcement for rash driving, checking for the drug abuse, enforcement for drug abuse or liquor shops near the highways. Or there can be multiple solutions or multiple interventions we can think of. So based on these interventions, now you will say you are doing this for, let's say, for the entire state. How I will come to know that something will be happening at this particular place, or there is some problem in a different district. So we can filter out this particular scenario and we can apply the same algorithm for some location specific or district specific strategy to make a particular plan for that district, or let's say a stretch of a highway. For that we need to collect the data for that district or a highway stretch. But if you say that for a particular district there are number of accidents, there are only 1,000 accidents per year. So what we can do is we can combine data for multiple years to make our database strong, because machine learning gives you better results when the number of records are higher. So that is the basic principle. More and more data and more will be the accuracy. So we can have the and similar way, if we can formulate the district specific strategy, then we can, whatever the feature that you have for which your multiple values are available, you can put together and you can create association or rules for those strategies also. Maybe it's a type of accident or a category of vehicle or something else. So that can be done. So this is the end of my presentation. Just only one thing that I want to share, and this is a initiative which has been taken by the government of Rajasthan. So I'll just take 1 minute. So this is a dedicated road safety web portal which has been launched by the Minister of our Deputy CM cum Transport Minister in the closing of this particular month. So there is a QR code. If you want to know the URL, you can scan this QR code you'll get the URL. And this is a dedicated portal where we have tried to incorporate all the aspects of road safety. Why I'm showing it to you, because right, it is this project took about nearly 2 years to complete, and right from the scratch, from the planning and its conceptualization and DPR preparation, I was a part of it, and to the content validation and content creation for this particular portal. So this is the Rajasthan's first dedicated road safety web portal, which has been launched recently on the 14th of February during the closing of the road safety month. So this is an initiative of the government. So you can go through this portal whenever you have time. And this is the end of my presentation. So at the end, I just want to say that it's not only the interventions and all these discussions, a relationship that matters. So if you want to get connected, you can either have follow the LinkedIn profile, or you can just contact me whenever it is required. Thank you so much. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Any questions, please? Yes, ma'am, please.
Yes.
Surya, mic.
No, I'll hear.
ठीक,
Yes.
ठीक.
A bigger
Something.
version of a correlation matrix.
Yes, you can say.
So in this, the fundamental problem is the evidence-based association we are not able to capture through this.
Yes.
So we can't use unsupervised learning for this kind of predictive thing that you are
See, this
proposing.
is just a hypothesis that I have made. Since the database is not available, I have tried to create a rule between these two things. So if we have the evidence, then only it will be recorded.
Right.
Unless there is no need. So as I already said, if you have quality data, it conforms to your situation, then this you take any machine learning algorithm apart from association rule, either regression or something else or classification. It will matter only if you have quality data. Otherwise, there is no use of using any sort of algorithm.
So, but one thing you should like integrate here
Okay.
is that correlation metric is not a causal relationship. So this association mining is not a causal relationship. So when we make suggestions based on this, it will appear as a causal relationship, but it does not, fundamentally it is not. So maybe when you go ahead with your research, you just integrate the causality through a different way.
There are different matrices we can set. Even we can combine two algorithms together to give
Or
better
may-
results.
some
Yes.
other
Yes.
method. But
Yeah.
Right.
No, there are different algorithms, so we can combine. Sir.
My question has nothing to do with methodology. Thank you very much for a good presentation. If you can go back a slide.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Why should road safety matters be CSR initiatives? Why can't the government spend on it? No, there is no lack of
No
fund.
lack of fund.
I'm sorry, sir. I follow the concept of Mahatma Gandhi, find a purpose, means will follow. So there are sufficient means, and with government is not deprived of means. But when are we going to get out of this CSR mentality? CSR is not a sustainable solution. Do you agree with me?
So it depends on case to case. It is not always that CSR that will work. It is just an initiative. This is not the only initiative.
I
This is not the
appreciate,
only
sir, I
initiative.
appreciate the initiative. I am throwing the question not to Mr. Ashwini Bagga. I am throwing this question
Okay.
to this audience.
Okay.
Why should it be CSR? We can spend 1,000 rupees for an evening in a hotel, and we can't spend 10 rupees for our own safety.
So this is just one example, but there are many other initiatives that the government has taken.
Sir,
but
government of Rajasthan
Yes.
is not alone. Across India, this plagues us.
Yes.
That we consider road safety supposed to be some kind of a CSR.
no, not always. Not always.
Okay, mic lena.
To some extent, it is
Thank-
possible, but not everything
thank
can
you
be
very much,
dependent
sir.
on CSR.
May I now request Sri Sanjay Anand Latkar sir to please come on the stage and present a memento to Ashwini Bagga sir. थैंक यू वेरी मच सर. थैंक यू सर. स्मॉल अनाउंसमेंट, आप लोगों के व्हाट्सएप शायद अगले आगे कोई पार्टिसिपेंट आए तो कहीं किसी तरह की कोई परेशानी ना हो, और कॉन्फ्रेंस में हम आगे और क्या जोड़ सकते हैं इसमें हमको मदद मिलेगी. लंच ब्रेक आप लोग 13-14 मिनट्स एक्सीड कर रहे हैं, लेकिन मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि प्लीज़ 2:30 बजे हम यहाँ स्टार्ट कर देते हैं फिर नेक्स्ट सेशन, ताकि हम समय से कंप्लीट कर लें और क्लोजिंग टाइमली कर लें. अदरवाइज जैसे हम इधर डिले करेंगे तो क्लोजिंग जो है वो आगे बढ़ता जाएगा. तो मैं तो अपना जो टाइम दे रखा वो मैं उतना करवाऊंगा पूरा. तो थैंक यू वेरी मच.